Now I'm going to let you in on a little secret today, guys. I'm going to let you know how I shoot a broadhead at 200 yards, which sounds bonkers, right? And that doesn't mean I want to shoot an animal that far. No, no, no. I simply want to be able to practice as far as I can functionally practice with the equipment I intend to hunt with. Because when I get that dialed in all the way out to that distance, the closer stuff is so much more precise. And all the equipment I use, I will detail in this video. So one, I have a Lift X 33 I built a month and a half ago. System X strings. The Lift X 33 platform is the only bow in their line, or the only longer bow in their line that fits my draw length. I have a 30-inch draw length that I can get into 80 pounds. Now, so that's key. I can't shoot that far without that weight. I have to have that weight so I can create more velocity, so I can shoot more energy at a farther distance. That's number one. The bow also gives me a very stable platform. It's very accurate. It's very forgiving. It's got a little higher brace height than like the 29.5. And it performs really well for me. It's the same riser with a couple of cuts and changes in it. There's a contour under here where my knuckle would used to grind, and I would use aftermarket grips, so it didn't. Now they took that away, so I can shoot these little side plates right here. And personally, I think shooting off of the riser with their side plate, or anyone's for that matter, is going to give you the most accurate response in the grip. I like that better personally, so I always try to shoot that. On their bows before, I couldn't because of the contour cut underneath where my forefinger is touching right here. So that bow is a great longer distance shooting bow, super good platform. I immediately took the strings off of it and put System X on. And I did that for a couple of reasons. One, I've had really good overall durability, no creep, no variance, haven't had to retime the bow. And I did gain, on this one, I didn't film it, but I gained about 4 foot a second on this one from stock to this. And to me, I believe in their products, so I use their stuff. But if you're going to gain foot per second on top of it, even better. And then I took those cables and I twisted them up just a little bit because I wanted to increase the poundage a little. The bow was hitting like 81 pounds stock out of the gate, and I twisted the cables, I think 2-3 twists, moved it up to like 84, if I remember right. Give me a little bit more, and 84 doesn't feel bad to me. I'm not saying everybody needs to shoot that weight or it's important, but once again, if you're trying to shoot farther away, you need to be able to increase your velocity or increase your energy, one of the two. Those are necessary. So I use their 2-piece detachable quiver. Has nothing to do with my ability to shoot long distance. It's just, it fits the bow better and it's lower profile. I run my 18-inch target bar with 8 ounces of weight in the front and an 8-ounce weight on the back because, quite frankly, to be accurate at distance, you need a little bit heavier bow. But I don't want to use a sidebar personally because I don't want the extra depth, because this is something I will take in and out of a UTV, take in and out of a pickup truck, and I don't want to have to take it apart to get it in and out. I use my offset bar instead of using a sidebar or a V-bar bracket. It achieves the same task. It's not as adjustable, not as precise, but it's very simplistic, and it keeps everything in a lower profile, and that's what I personally prefer to use for most of my hunting situations. The side I have on here is the black gold dual track, 10 thousandths pins. They did recut the centerpiece of these. I cannot strip it out now to save my life. So I'm back on their bandwagon. After those changes, it's very nice. Micro adjust windage, micro adjust elevation, micro driven pin, first, second, and third axis leveling, and the third axis is on a micro drive, and the rail adjustment is on a micro drive. So I can really finitely make those fine adjustments, because when you're trying to hit something at 200 yards, every last little precision movement matters. And it is amazing, flat amazing, how one little click will move a lot of distance. It gets really difficult that distance. So these got sent to me in the mail like a month ago. And these are dials for black gold slider sights. This is from Cedar Buck Outdoors in Wisconsin. They, I'm assuming it's 3D printed, but they make a bigger knob that can go over the existing black gold knob, because that is a complaint that I have. The knob's kind of small and it's hard to move. This gives you more of an ergonomic to where it's easier to shift and rotate. I like this little add-on. I do not know anything about the company other than they sent me a bag of these and I haven't reached out to them. I don't know if they have a dealer platform or if they're direct to consumer, but I stuck it on there. Really liked it. Haven't contacted them yet. But I added that to that site. It makes it a little nicer in that regard. Makes it a little easier to move. Yeah, it looks good. And they come in different colors. So if you got like a green bow or a black or gray, even a bright orange. Oh, look at that. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. And it looks like they make a couple different sizes of them. They make a bigger and a smaller one, like a slightly smaller and slightly bigger. So options for you out there, but those are specifically for black golds. Yeah, and literally available in 14 colors, 2 sizes, and with matching sight rings. Cedar Buck Outdoors at Cedar Buck Outdoors. There you go. So I use the Hamskea Epsilon V2. I do, however, use my own personal bracket. And I do that for a couple reasons. One, I take the top cage off, and I use my bracket so I can back it up a little bit. It allows you to shorten your arrow even more. So I backed it up as far as I could without getting to where I couldn't adjust the windage. Because at the end of the day, I'm shooting too light of a spine arrow for this poundage. I really am. But by shortening it up and only having 130 grains in the front, it seems to tune okay, and I can get away with it. Let's see here. I do have the Engage limb legs on here, but honestly, when I'm hunting, I'll probably take it off and not have it on there. But I've been shooting a lot of practice out, like I said, out to 200 with it, and that's helped. I use a small nose button personally on here. This allows me to position my head up even a little higher, which moves my peep up a little higher. The higher you can get your peep sight in the string, don't sacrifice your anchor point for it, but the higher you can get your peep sight up in the string, the farther you can shoot. If this was up here, I could shoot farther. If it was up here, I could shoot farther. It's just part of the logistics of your rear reference and your front reference. The higher you get your rear reference, the higher your front reference would go, the farther you could shoot. The black gold has enough adjustment within its rail to move it all the way down to where you'd run into your arrow. So you're not giving up any additional drop. If there was a pin underneath the housing or something like that, I could shoot drastically farther. But with the stock black gold sight, I haven't done anything to it outside of that other than put this little wheel adapter on here. I was able to get my second pin out to holding on at like 190. And I can hold a little above it, like 2 foot above, and still hit it like 200. I could even shoot farther with certain things, but that's just the way this bow is set up. I still haven't been able to get it to an actual point on at 200 yards, but I do have a point on at 190 with a broadhead. If I shot it with a field point, I could probably get a little farther. But speaking of broadheads, we should talk about the arrow that I'm using. This is a RIP X Extreme Velocity 350 from Victory. This is a 30-06 UFO lighted knock. Mini sabers, left helical with a lot of helical on them, just what I prefer. And a 30 grain titanium one-piece insert, and a Beast 2.3 inch titanium 100 grain broadhead. 2.3s or 2s, kind of your own preference. Antelope aren't very big, so I'm not worried about penetration. I'll go through them with either. So that's the setup. I have my arrow, and this whole arrow weighs 340 grains. And that is the magic to how you can shoot this thing so far. Lightening this makes it go farther. Now, would I shoot this at an elk? Probably not. It's probably not a good idea. Even though I have a ton of poundage and energy, and a 350 would normally not be the recommended spine, but because I only have 130 grains up here and I've cut this arrow down to, I want to say 26 and a half, it makes it stiffer and it seems to tune fine. I got a good tear through paper. I used my limb shift technology to get the wheeling out where I wanted it to get a good hole. And my broadheads and my field points shoot in the same line. Now, once you hit like 110, 120 yards with this kind of a setup, your field point and your broadhead are going to start to separate, and then you need to switch to a practice broadhead to be able to functionally do that with these. They do sell a practice broadhead separately, and I personally have shot both, and they do shoot the same. So for what it's worth, that would be what I would practice with. Anyhow, that's my antelope setup. Comment on how unethical or unrealistic this setup is. I am not shooting that far away at animals. Just for clarification, I like to build one every year for how far can I functionally get it to go.